My name is Evan Lawrence, and I'm here to talk about the video game development specialization of gameplay programmer. The gameplay programmer is a type of software developer that focuses on developing mechanics of a video game. This may include various programming languages, styles such as node development, and always requires a good amount of documentation and teamwork. Unlike other specializations, such as the AI programmer, the gameplay programmer will have a wide variety of tasks and problems to solve, such as combat mechanics, physics, and any special features the game may need developed. It is this array of tasks with varying difficulty that keep my attention, and is why those with a penchant for puzzle solving are often drawn to this career path. In order to assess my current skill set and identify room for improvement as I move forward in my career, I performed a skill gap analysis to assess 5 skills commonly in demand for a gameplay programmer position. The skills I chose to focus on are teamwork, communication, C++ programming, system design, and network gameplay. In teamwork, I rate myself a 3 out of 4, experienced but not an expert. I do well working by myself or as part of a small team. In larger groups, I find it difficult to track everyone's progress. Currently, I am working on multiple projects, and I find I am able to manage that just fine, as each is one-on-one. I am now trying to add a third project to that list, but it is already well underway, with several team members currently working on it. In this scenario, I find it especially easy to lose track of important details. To help manage this issue, I have decided to increase my note-taking and use of proper documentation, as this will help reduce the number of active trains of thought that are running during meetings, and allow me to address those thoughts later. Although my proof of concept will not be a team project, it is possible, and likely, that I will be seeking guidance from the community forums, which is a team of sorts. In the long run, I believe it would be beneficial for me to develop a process in which I can store important details and recall quickly and easily, such as finding a better, more organized use of Jira, a popular issue tracking software. Communication has never been my strongest trait. However, I consider myself an intermediate, 2 out of 4, mostly due to the courses such as technical writing and public speaking, which have taught me techniques to be more concise and confident. This, in turn, has improved my ability to document, communicate through written language, and even speak in front of larger groups of people on familiar topics. One drawback I still face is that if someone does not speak tech, I have an issue of getting caught up in semantics. In trying to be as accurate and complete as possible, I often come across overly wordy, which may lead to obfuscating the point. My proof of concept will demonstrate documentation skills, a form of communication. The thing about communication is that it only improves with practice. There are no shortcuts. For long-term improvement, I am in the ideal situation that I am constantly required to communicate with others through text and in person. One active decision I can make is to avoid negotiating my way out of public speaking and work my way through it, even when it makes me nervous. After much thought, I would have to class myself as experienced, a 3 out of 4, in C++ programming. This is mostly due to my strong foundation in several other programming languages such as Java, JavaScript, C#, and SQL. There are still aspects of C++ that I need improvement on, such as learning which libraries are available, but I have found that the syntax and fundamentals are largely similar between the languages. I believe my best option for improving this skill would be to find more excuses to use the language in game development, as well as in my work as a performance and automation engineer. For my proof of concept, I will be using C++ to demonstrate and improve upon my programming skills. While I am familiar with many of the components of a system, I have to admit that I'm a novice, 1 out of 4, when it comes to designing a system from the ground up. The only system I have designed professionally that incorporated a front end, a back end, a database, and several other moving parts was not something I intentionally designed as much as it was something that I dove right into and began adding pieces as necessary. The problem I have with system design is that I have difficulty seeing the big picture right off the bat. I excel when I can jump right in and figure out the requirements as I go, but that does not adhere to the tenets of the software development lifecycle. Perhaps the best I can do to enhance this ability is more on the documentation side than anything technical. I will practice writing as much documentation as I am able and flush out as many foreseeable obstacles during the planning phase before diving into development. My proof of concept will be a system of sorts. The finished product will contain 2 or more components, including a SQL database to record high scores. I'm an intermediate, 2 out of 4, when it comes to networking gameplay. I have taken more than one course on networking and have even developed a simple dodgeball type game which allowed for network play. I understand there's still much to learn, so I will continue to research methodologies and perform tests to create online games using Unreal Engine and C++. While potentially out of scope for my proof of concept, As previously mentioned, the final product will be connected to a SQL database hosted in the cloud, which will serve to record high scores. For now, there are no definite plans for multiplayer gameplay, but I would not rule it out as an aside minigame in the future. The game development community can be an incredibly useful asset for hobby developers and professionals alike. When you have more questions than you have time to Google, or you are having difficulty finding a solution that matches your exact situation, reaching out to the community can bring you just the answer you're looking for. In the former case, I reached out to GameDev.net community to find the best way of simulating the shrinking growth aspect for the VR game within the Unreal universe, a fairly specific question. Within hours, my post received several hundred views, but it wasn't until the next day that responses started coming in. The first couple were either too ambiguous or thoughtful, but not quite hitting the nail on the head. Because of this, I felt I needed to expand upon my question. With a bit of back and forth, eventually I was able to piece together bits from the responses to get the solution I needed. As a gameplay programmer, I would return to the forums in search of answers, or possibly even to bounce ideas off of others in the same field. It is a more human and more specific solution than simply Googling for similar issues. When stuck or in doubt, two or more heads are often better than one.